are you today? Today is very exciting. If you don't know, I'm Hannah, and this is Hannah's Reading Room. Today we're going to do something super fun. I spend pretty much any of my time I'm not working or reading watching BookTube, okay? It's like my favorite hobby, my favorite thing. I feel like I'm friends with all these people, and I take recommendations from BookTube all the time. Are there any books that you just like associate, or authors you associate with certain booktubers and you're like, yeah, like that's them, and when I pick up that book, it is because of them? Are there any books that you've picked up because of moi? Or are there any books, what is a book you associate with me? And you think of that book and you're like, yup, that's a Hannah book. Today, we're going to be reading 4 books which I associate with 5 different booktubers. And I'm excited to go over them. I've had 2 of them have been on my TBR for a while. We're going to be continuing 2 series, and I'm excited. I don't know what order we're going to do these in, but I will just go over what I have. So I have Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, which this one is inspired by dun, 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 the lovely Kayla from BooksandLala. I am a little bit nervous. I bought this book because, like, I'm a sucker for, like, the sprayed edges. I liked, like, the shiny cover. I thought it looked super cool. And I liked the level of mixed media. And I know Kayla really, really likes this author, Paul Tremblay, but I do fear that she has said before that this is not a good book to just start with, that this book is for people who already like Paul Tremblay, and that's not necessarily me as a person, but we're going to be reading this. I do actually think I have the, like, on Libby, the audio for it, which I think should be fun with, like, the mixed media, and that is how I plan to read this. This is pretty short. It's only 271 pages, which is good, because we have a fat daddy on this list, as you probably saw in the thumbnail. But Kayla, I'm pretty sure, enjoyed this book and gave it a decent rating, like a 4, I believe, but I'm excited to see what I think of it. Next, we are going to go with the book that it's Miss Jan Agaton. I go between 2 different things when I think of her. One of them is spooky, scary, gory, horrifying horror, which my sweet little baby heart does like horror, but I can't really handle graphic, and I feel like Jan eats that up. So we went the opposite end of Jan, which is a silly little cowboy romance. If you know, you know. And I know she loves Lyla Sage, and she's really enjoyed this series. I think she just finished it up in a recent video. This one's also quite short, barely 300 pages. So we are going to be reading Swift and Saddled, which this is book 2 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And I am excited. I didn't think I was going to really enjoy book 1. I did end up giving it 4 stars. One of my friends was like, yeah, I don't think you're going to like it. My sister was like, I don't think you're going to like it, because I don't like super spicy things, but I really enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed the characters a ton. And I'm really reading this book to get to book 3 because I want Teddy's story so very badly. But this is, oh, I didn't even tell you what this was about. This book is about a group of filmmakers who had spent 4 weeks making a movie that's become notorious. And the weird part, only 3 of the film scenes were ever released to the public, but it has a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. The man who played the thin kid is the only surviving cast member, and he remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay. And then this is just a silly little cowboy romance. We're going to need something fun in here. We have 2 kind of fun in, like, the spooky book and then kind of a more serious book. But this is about Ada and Weston. I don't really remember. I'm trying to be better about reading my series closer together so I don't forget what is going on. And I fear I kind of forget even the characters' names from book 1, but I'm sure I will jump into this and live, laugh, love it. Next, we have got The Dead Romantics. Do we know who this is for? This is for the lovely Ellencatherine. She is a British little cutie pie, and she loves Ashley Poston. I have read her 2 other, I don't know if she has more books, but I've read the 2 other popular ones, The 7-Year Slip and A Novel Love Story. I gave The 7-Year Slip 4 stars, and I gave A Novel Love Story 2 stars. I did not like that book, but I don't think Ellen liked it either, and I don't think really anybody did, if I'm being honest with you. I think it was wildly unpopular, which sucks because the cover is so cute. But I know she is a lover of all things Miss Ashley Poston, so I will be reading this one in her honor. I have no idea what this is about. Romance is dead, but this isn't what she has had. This is not. Whoa. Romance is dead, but this isn't what she had in mind. Florence Day is the ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. When her new editor, too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension on a book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye, but then she gets a phone call that she never wants to receive. She must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. Oh, I love a dead parent. Sounded kind of crazy. I enjoy books that have a dead parent because I have a dead parent. So they always are very hard-hitting, and I tend to rate things that make me emotional high. So I'm excited about this. And then finally, what prompted me to film this video is I literally checked yesterday, and I was like number 600th in line for this audiobook, and now all of a sudden today it's available. And this book is, in the US print of it, 757 pages, and I'm pretty sure in like the UK cover it's like over 1,000 pages. And that is going to be the next book that I'm on in the Boys of Tommen series, which is going to be Redeeming Six. And can you guess the two little bestie girlies that have inspired this? That would have to be Miss Larry Reads and Miss Mariana. They have both been doing a reread of Boys of Tommen, and they just read the new book releasing 10, I believe, at the time of filming this. That came out this week. And so when this came through on my Libby, I was like, I need to do the girlies proud and make progress in this series. I know once I get through this book, it'll be smooth sailing, because this is the longest book, and book 7 is the shortest, or Taming 7, book 5 is the shortest. But this is a chunker. This is the second part of Joey Lynch and Aoife's story. Books 1 and 2 follow Joey's sister Shannon, and her man's name is Johnny, and it goes through their story. Then we have Saving Six is part 1 of Joey's story, which basically, I feel like Saving Six, basically the events of Saving Six were like the events of Binding 13, but from Joey's point of view. And so I'm guessing this is going to be a lot of Keeping 13, but in Joey and Aoife's point of view. These books are very dark, very sad, very miserable, and there is some playlists. We've got songs for Joey and songs for Aoife. And Haunted by Taylor Swift, okay. So What by Pink. Anything else super sticking out to me? Cardigan by Taylor Swift. Basket Case by Green Day. Yup, that'll do it for Johnny. Or Joey. Demons by Imagine Dragons. Very much sounds like him. And yeah, I'm excited to see where their story goes. But this is the stacky poo. Let's see if these booktubers do us proud. Okay, Kayla's book is up first. Today is the day we're gonna be, this is just so satisfying to me, like how it's so red and then it goes into the red pages. I don't know, I think that looks so good. But it is time to give this one a go. My audio copy of it has to be returned in 4 days. It's only 7 hours of audio, which is not shocking because this is under 300 pages. But in comparison, Mariana and Larry's book, this is a 32-hour audio, which I do plan on starting this today also because it's only noon 30, and I listen to audio at between 2 and 3 times speed. So, and I will be working until at least my husband gets home from work, which is like 8 o'clock. So I will be working for at least 8 more hours today, so I definitely will finish this. Because I'm listening to it on audio, I don't really think I'll DNF it. I have not really DNF'd, I don't think, any audiobooks. So, because it's just like kind of mindless, but I'm gonna go eat some lunch and then I'm gonna start listening to this one. I hope it's at least a 3. I think that The other 3 books will probably be a 4. This is the most like spooky one to me. I've given all of the books in the Boys of Tommen series 4 stars because I do not subscribe to the fact that I would read a million pages about these characters. I think that they're too long. I really truly do, and I will die on that hill. And I gave the first book in the Rebel Brant series 4 stars, so I think this one will probably also be 4 stars. And then we have The Dead Romantics, which I think it'll probably be 4 stars. That one's probably most likely to be 5 stars, but this one is most likely to be not good. I've been having a very mixed relationship with horror slash thriller slash mystery books. It's always been my favorite genre. Like, if you ask me what's your favorite genre, that's what I say. But over the last couple of months, I've been so severely disappointed with pretty much all books in that stratosphere that I'm right now like, well, do I even like them? Or maybe I actually hate them. So this one is a little bit spooky, but let's get to it. Okay guys, we have finished horror. I keep almost calling this Horror Store, which is the Grady Hendrix book, and I recently read that, but horror movie. We have finished this. I was gonna come partway through and like talk about it, but there just like wasn't much to say because this is kind of short and I really don't have a ton to say. It was so weird. I didn't like it, but I didn't not like it at the same time. I gave it a 3 because I can't decide like if it's more in the enjoyment or more in the not enjoyment. I really enjoyed the audiobook, so this book, I don't want to say anything that's like not in the like blurb, but basically we have our main character, and anywho, it's about these people who are making this movie called Horror Movie, and for like a project basically. A girl named Cleo's working on it, and she asks this guy if he'll play the thin kid. He like agrees, whatever. The film has like all of these horrifying sets, and instead of like doing things practically or like with special effects, they're like, oh no, let's really do it. Like, let's put out a cigarette on my actual arm. Let's cut off the actual tip of my finger. And it's very bizarre, and only 3 like scenes from the film ever were like put out to the public. Now everybody who's worked on this movie besides our main character is dead, and he's like going to different like expos about it, and Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot, and he's going to be a part of it, and things are just wacky. It's wild. It was so weird. It was so strange. But I did give it 3 stars, so I consider that a win because this is the one that I was most nervous about. And now I'm about to embark on the adventure of redeeming 6. I already know I'm going to have to listen to it at a lower speed because of the Irish accents. So it's probably going to be like a 16-hour situation, which I'm almost done with work for the day. It's 5 o'clock now, and so I don't think I'm going to really even make a dent into it. If I make it, I don't even think I'm gonna make it 25%, but I don't even remember where book 1 left off. It's about Joey and Aoife, and we're continuing their stories. I think Joey and Aoife broke up at the end of book 1, from what I'm gathering from the 4% that I have listened to of the audiobook. So with that being said, I'm gonna go listen to that in Kayla's book that I've bought because of her. Gives a 3, which I don't think is bad. I think, to me, a 3 is good. It's just good. Not great, not amazing, just good. Hello, friends. We are making progress in redeeming 6 in the audio on Libby. Let me tell you where we're at, because I'm killing it. We are at 67%, and I'm begging it to be done, okay? So I have a lot of feelings about this series, and I know that Miss Marianna and Miss Larry live, laugh, love it. I've given the 3 books that I've read 4 stars. This is not a 5-star series for me. It's just not. And with this, I am struggling. It's very interesting because I love Joey and Aoife infinitely, a million times more than I liked Johnny and Shannon, okay? Like, I love Joey and Aoife. I love them, love them, love them. But for me, the issue is I don't know if the format of this series works well for me personally. I DNF'd the first, like, Magnolia Parks book, but these books kind of do what Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates do, from my knowledge. To my understanding, it's like you read Magnolia Parks, and then you read Daisy Hates, which takes place during Magnolia Parks, but from Daisy's point of view. Basically, Binding and Keeping 13 are this storyline from Shannon and Johnny's points of view. And then Saving 6 and Redeeming 6 are this same storyline, but from Joey and Aoife's point of view. Which is fine. I like their point of view better. But I read all of Saving 6, and I'm like, when I was at 60% of Redeeming 6, between those two books, which the first book's like 600 pages, and that was like 600 pages of this book. So like, it's taken us 1,200 pages to cover Joey and Aoife's point of view up to the end of Binding 13. So it's just like, it feels this long. Like, it feels like 1,000 pages. It's a little bit rough in my point of view, and I think everything feels quite repetitive. And the thing that really, like, I finished Binding 13 and I immediately started Keeping 13 because of the cliffhangers, because you don't know what's gonna happen. And if you don't know, this is technically a YA series, but like, I would not let my child read this. I would not let somebody under the age of 16 read these books. I just wouldn't. Like, it would just be a no for me. There is On-Page Spice, which Joey is 18. I don't know off the top of my head how old Aoife is, but they're in high school, which, like, I was having sex in high school. That's not the issue, but as like an almost 30-year-old, it feels uncomfy to read about, which I know is like a big complaint of these books. And then the other topics in this book are severely triggering and very dark, especially from what I hear about the newest one, Releasing 10. But just check your triggers before you go into these books. But basically, the first two books again are Shannon and Johnny's point of view, and Shannon is like severely bullied at her school, and her brother Joey is like the one who stands up for her, and she's moving schools to Tommen, which is like more of like a prep school, a private school, and she meets this guy Johnny. He's on the rugby team, and it's their story. The thing is that Shannon and Joey are brother and sister, and they have like 6 siblings, and they're all severely abused by their dad. He is an alcoholic, and he beats the shit out of all of them, basically. The oldest brother no longer lives at home, and the mom just she just lets it happen. Does not care. And he's like constantly like essaying the mom. That's why they have so many kids. And it's like, it's very dark. But the ending of Binding 13 is a cliffhanger, and it made me so excited to get to the second book. But the thing is that that's what kept me going, was the like suspense of like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? What is this? And reading Redeeming 6 and Keeping 6, or Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, you already know what happens. Like, in this book, they're talking about, because Joey struggles severely with drugs. He is a drug addict, and there is a lot in this book. It's very much like realistic to what it is like to be dating a drug addict, to be surrounded by drug addicts. As somebody who has a lot of addicts in their family, I understand the, like, he gets better, then he relapses. He gets better, then he relapses. But it's just so many pages of that I'm like, I get the point, and I get that you're trying to make it feel real, but it does feel repetitive to me. But we're getting to the point where I keep forgetting the names, Keeping 13, they start addressing the idea of Joey possibly going to rehab. And so, like, we already know that part of the story. We already know, not from Joey's point of view, but we already know like the decisions that are going to be made and what is coming. So it's just interesting to read. Does that make sense? Like, it's not interesting. It's actually the opposite of interesting. It makes it less engaging for me personally, already knowing what's going to come. So, and then this book involves some certain tropes that I, just as a human being, am not like loving. So there's that. But it's like, depending on the end, like I still have 13 hours in the audiobook, okay? But we're listening to that at 3 times speed, baby. So it's like 3.5 hours or so. So much can happen that it may be a 4, but right now it is feeling like a 3 because I am very bored. Very bored. Not that the story or the things happening are boring, because the things that are, like, I like a dark book. I like a book about hard topics. I like a book about dark things. But because I already know the conclusion and I already know what's coming, it feels like I read a spoiler summary of the book before reading it. Not even a summary. It feels like I've read 1,000+ pages summary, spoiler filled, for this book before getting to it. So it makes it just like a little bit less fun to read, in my opinion. But that's where we're at with this book. I'm sorry this is a very long clip. We're at 7 minutes, but like we had a lot to discuss. So it's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. It's another book in the series. I honestly wish I didn't already own Taming 7, because I feel like now I have to get Releasing 10, which is also like 1,000 pages. And I would be fine not continuing the series after this, but I already have Taming 7, and it is the shortest book. That one is, I believe, about Claire and Gibbsy, who I literally don't care about. So Gibbsy is one of Johnny's friends. So that's this book. We're getting through it. We really, truly are. And I think I'm gonna play some games. Like, there's a website called Board Game Arena. I think I'm gonna play some games on there and listen to the audiobook. My husband is coming home from work early today. It's all drama, but that's that. You guys, I'm gonna be so for real with you right now. I know I'm excited to read this, and I know that Miss Ellen loves it. We're switching it out because I was just looking at my books, and there was another book that I've been dying to read, and I know Ellen loves. She's the reason I read this book, the first book in this series, and so I think it's only fitting that I read the second book in this series because of Ellen. And this is available currently, like immediately, on Libby for audio. I'm so excited! I'm thrilled to read this. This is way more exciting to me. I'm way more excited to read this. And the third one comes out this year, and I would like to be caught up. And this month I've been really trying to read a bunch of my series and continue on and get caught up, get further ahead. So I just wanted to inform you. I'm still listening to Redeeming 6, but just know that this is going to be my next audiobook for this video, and I'm so excited. Like a very weird spot for me to be filming this. This is my board game area of my home, but my husband is falling asleep right now, and I am trying to be better. I don't know what it is with this light fixture, but it's like making a weird sound, but like it's the middle of the night. It's literally midnight, but I just have to update you right now because I simply plan to one-shot this book. I feel like we'd be using our D&D terms for a reading, but it's just so good. It's exactly what I needed right now. Like, I've been having a really good reading month, but I've been reading like really long, heavy books. Like, I just finished a fantasy book. I just recently finished Redeeming 6. Like, I feel like every book that I've read has just been so like draining, and this is the exact opposite. So this is book 2 in the Rebel Brew Ranch series, and I am reading this based on Cutie Pie Jenna Agaton. And it's so funny because I watched one of her videos today, and she was reading one of Elsie Silver's cowboy romances, but she's like, oh, it just reminded me how much I love a cowboy romance. And I'm like, it's just so funny because I'm reading this because of her. And I did look, and she did give this 5 stars, and I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. not even that I think it's objectively a 5 stars, but it's just like very much so giving, right book, right time. You know what I'm saying? Where like, this is just exactly what I needed right now. So this is about one of the brothers, and the first book is about Emmy, and this is about her brother Wes. It's a dual point of view, and Wes, Emmy, their brother Gus, they kind of all are part of this ranch called Rebel Blue Ranch that their family owns. And Wes got his family to agree to let them renovate. There's like 2 homes on the property. It's the original house that his dad grew up in, and then his dad built the big house where they grew up. And so back in the like original house, they're going to be renovating it to basically make it like a lodge. And our girl Ada, she is the female main character, she does like renovation projects. So she's kind of like the project manager on all of this. So her first night she gets into town and she's looking for somewhere to eat. She Googles, the whole beginning is her being like Google's flyer, F Google. But basically she Googles where to get something to eat in this town, like what's open and where can she get food. And with that she stumbles upon, I forget the name of it, like the Rusty Boot or something like that. But she stumbles upon the like bar in town where there is in fact no food. And little does she know that there is a hot cowboy there. She makes out with him. They almost hook up, but they get caught. And then the next day she goes to meet with the person she's doing this project with. They've only communicated via email for months now. And it is in fact the guy she made out with at the bar. So they're like very attracted to each other, but they're trying to like keep things professional. We've also learned that Ada is divorced and she had a very toxic relationship with her ex. He fucking sucked. And literally we're only halfway through and he's already like just doing so many things to heal a part of her that has been broken by this man. And another thing I'm really loving is Ada's talking a lot about how like she's never been good at friendships and she's never had like groups of girlfriends before. And we're at this part now where Emmy and Teddy, book one's about Emmy, book 2 is about Teddy. Teddy is Emmy's best friend and Teddy is also friends with Ada. They like knew each other in college and that's how Ada got hooked up with this gig. They come to visit her and have like a girls' night, and then incoming Camille, who is the brother Gus's baby mama, but she's basically like a part of the family. And she comes into town, and they're just all having like this super sweet girls' night, and just really, it's just so wholesome, and it's just what I need right now. The found family, I'm literally caking my feet reading this. It's exactly what I needed. I'm eating it up. You ever just like read a book and you're like, if I read this at any other point in time, it would probably be a 3 or a 4, but because it's exactly what my heart desired at this point in time, I think it's gonna be a 5. I don't really think anything can make it less than a 5. And the fact I'm 44% in and my Kindle says I have an hour and like 50 minutes left. It's literally exactly midnight. The thing is either I'm gonna lay there and watch TV till 2 o'clock in the morning, because I'd say fall asleep around 2 a.m. is probably like my like sweet spot. If I'm falling asleep in the 1 o'clock hour, I think that's early, and then I consider 3 o'clock late. So I would say that that's like my perfect time to be falling asleep. So that's the plan, is to go lay down and finish this book, and then I will check in with you in the morning. And then tomorrow I plan on starting the audiobook for Ellen's book, which is my Vampire Plus One, I think is what it's called. Second book in the like My Roommate is a Vampire series. But oh my god, this is just, it's giving everything I want it to give, and I'm loving it. Okay guys, my camera battery running low, but I for sure stayed up and finished this last night. It was so good, and I gave it 5 stars. It is just like exactly what I needed. And the couple in this really remind me of me and my husband, because the girl talks a lot about how like she's never had a big group of girlfriends and she feels like people don't like her. When she does hang out with people, when she goes home, she's like, well, clearly they hate me. It's literally me energy. And then there's this one part that like she's like, I don't know why you even like me, like I'm not nice. And he's like, you're like hardworking, you're ambitious, you're you're magnetic, like gives all these like super deep and like thoughtful adjectives. He's like, I would never call you so something as simple as nice. And I just like, oh my god, I loved it. I agree with Jan. This book is 5 stars. It was so good, so cute. I'm just like, the amount of self-control it's taking to not go binge the other 3 books, especially because the next book is Teddy, and then the next book is Camille, which like Ada and Wes are probably the couple I was least excited for, and I give it 5 stars. So I feel like Teddy's book has to be 5 stars and Camille's book has to be 5 stars because I love her daughter, Riley. I think she's so cute. So I'm excited about her book, and overall, I'm so glad that Jan loving this book got me to read it for this video because like it was exactly what I needed. And then another book that I fear is going to be exactly what the doctor ordered is the final book for this video that I am reading per Miss Ellen. I did actually just watch her new video because it is Sunday when I'm filming this. And I am just so excited. I distinctly remember reading the first book. I read like 75% of it at a hair appointment in October. And the thing that like really got me in it was all of like the text messages, the letter writing. I love letter writing in a book. Not that I think this one's gonna have it, but this is about in the first book, the man's name is Frederick, and he essentially is a vampire who's been asleep for a bunch of years. He wakes up in the modern world, and he doesn't know anything about modern times. He's kind of clueless. And then we have our main character that's the female in the book. I do not remember her name, but basically, she is an artist, and she needs somewhere to live. He is posted on Craigslist. He's looking for a roommate, and it's crazy low rent. She moves in, and then he has a friend, Reginald, who essentially, like, is teaching him like how to operate in the modern world. And then this is his story. This is Reginald, or Reggie. It's his story. So I'm very, very excited to give this a go. I will check in at about halfway and let you guys know how I'm liking it. I literally think I'm 33% into the audio, and it's gonna be 5 stars. It just is. Like, I don't know what it is about Jenna Levine, Jenna's writing. It just works for me. Like, this is like a monster. It's just like, it's very much so gives like sitcom energy. That's like the best way I can put it. Like, I feel like this book would have a laugh track if it was like made in the 90s. And it's just bringing me so much joy. Like, I'm only 30% in, and I'm like actually laughing out loud. So basically in the story, we have our main girl. Her name is Amelia, and she's an accountant, and her family thinks her job's kind of lame. All she does is work, and she's like too busy for love, and they're very on her about having a boyfriend. She gets invited to her cousin's wedding, and she gets to invite a +1, and everybody's like, oh, well, Amelia's not gonna bring anybody. And she's like, oh, wait, I have a boyfriend. And you find out how her and Reginald, get together, and she decides she's gonna bring him to this wedding. Little does she know he's a vampire. She tries Googling him, and she can't find any information besides this like weird website that like looks very janky, and like somebody made it that didn't know what they were doing, talking about this guy, Reginald Cleves, and how he's like basically like a wanted vampire for the murder of these people. And she's like, what the hell? And then when he tells her he's a vampire, she thinks this whole thing is a practical joke. And she's just like, oh, whatever, dude, talk to you later. And it's just so funny, and like Reginald's big into bullet journaling. It's just like all so funny. And we've already gotten so much inclusion of Frederick and Cassie from the prior book, and I'm just obsessed with it. So basically he's going as her +1 to her cousin's wedding. They're at like an engagement party right now. There's a bunch of like mixed media. There's text messages, there's emails, there's him writing in his bullet journal. He's recently just joined an online forum about how to bullet journal, and I'm eating it up. Like, obviously she's gonna have to learn at some point that he's like actually a vampire, but like where I'm at right now, they're at the engagement party, and Amelia is lactose intolerant and pescatarian, and there's really no food that she can eat. And like, Reggie has told her, basically he calls her up at like 2 in the morning, wakes her up, and she's like, what? And he's like, oh, am I like interrupting something? She's like, I'm sleeping, it's 2 a.m. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm nocturnal. And she's like, what? And he's like, I have a secret to tell you, I have to tell you. And she's like, what could, he's like, I don't know how to say it. And she's like, what, are you a wanted vampire? And he's like, oh, so you know. And so he thinks that she is in the know. He thinks that she understands and accepts that he's a vampire, but really she thinks he's playing a practical joke. So they're at this they're at this engagement party, and she can't really eat anything, and she's like, but you should eat. And he's like, oh, I can't eat anything here, my diet is even more restrictive than yours. And like, he thinks she's in on the joke, but really she doesn't get it, and she's just like, okay. So I'm obsessed. I literally am so obsessed, and I love it, and I think it's amazing, and I think it's gonna be 5 stars, because like, I'm actually laughing out loud, and like, ain't nothing better. So we are loving it. It is going great, and I'm having a lovely time. Thank you, Ellen. Okay guys, we have finished My Vampire +1, and oh my god, another 5 stars. I'm so excited. I thought for sure this was going to be a 5-star once I started it, and I was LOLing so much. Like, I didn't know how I could like this more than Cassie and Frederick's story, but, or if I didn't think I would even like it as much, but it's literally tied. They're both so good, and we got so much Cassie and Frederick in this book, and I absolutely loved that. So I told you about like the first 30%, then going forward, basically, eventually Amelia realizes that Reggie is actually a vampire, and he's being hunted by the collective, and they work together to take him down, baby. And I just loved this. It's 5 stars. This series, it's so goofy. Like, you have to just go into it accepting the fact that it's goofy, but I loved it. So recap. First thing we read for this video, it's already put back on my shelves, and I don't really feel like fucking with it, if I'm being honest with you, was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, which was a book that I bought because of Kayla from BooksandLala, and I did give that book 3 stars, and for me, 3 stars is a good rating. 3 stars means that I just thought it was good, period. End of sentence, just good. So I'm happy about that. And then I followed that up with reading Redeeming 6 because of Larry and Marianna, and Marianna just posted like her ranking of these books, and this one actually is her #1 favorite. So glad to have read that for both of those girlies, and I gave this 4 stars because I do not fall into the camp that wants this book to be this long. I do fear that it is way too long for my liking, but overall I do love Joey and Aoife, so this book did get 4 stars. And then we have our 2 5-star ratings. We read Swift and Saddled, picked because of Jan Agaton, because she be hyping up the cowboy romances at all times. And yeah, it was a yeehaw time. I had to really force myself to not go and binge the whole series because they're just so fun, and they're so quick, and they're so short, and they just really reinvigorate my love of books. And then finally, picked because of Ellen from Ellencatherine, was My Vampire +1. These books in general don't have the greatest ratings on Goodreads, but Ellen, I am with you. I stand with you. I believe in you, because I am a huge fan of this series. But that is everything for this video of reading books that I bought specifically because of BookTubers. If you'd like to see another episode of this, let me know, because the thing is I buy a lot of books because of BookTubers. These ones were just right at the top of the mind. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!